Hello, this is Rory with the Love Chat, and today's topic is time slows down during a breakup. Now, this is video number 254. If you have a question you'd like for me to consider featuring on the Love Chat, please write it in a comment below, and if you enjoy my videos, I'd be so very grateful if you'd subscribe and hit like. If you'd like coaching on your situation, just visit my website, thelovechat.net/coaching. Now, this one's going to be pretty important for a lot of you people who are listening because it affects almost everybody I've ever spoken to. For some reason, some unknown weird reason, breakups seem to slow time down. It can be all we think about post-breakup because it's at the forefront of our mind, and obviously, we know that whenever we're worried about something or focused on something, time seems to slow down around it simply because we're looking for minute-to-minute changes. Because during the time of a breakup, what are we doing? We are basically hyper-focused on everything and anything, any piece of information that we could use to either confirm or deny or give ourselves false hope or false doom. And so, let's talk a little bit about the science of what's exactly going on here so we can bring some more understanding to the table. You see, what's going on is part of our brain, which is called the reticular activating system, which has several purposes in our brain, including consciousness, regulating sleep and waking transitions, attention, and things like that. Basically, it helps us notice patterns. It helps us focus on consciousness and the things that help make us conscious, which includes sentience and wakefulness. And primarily, this is seen as the main driver of a lot of our behaviors and what sort of behaviors we can predict moving forward. The reticular activating system. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of examples of the reticular activating system, but here's a common one. Let's say that you're on the road and you notice, actively, 3 silver cars. And you say to yourself, gee, there's a lot of silver cars out here today. And then all you can see is silver cars. You're sitting at home, maybe looking out the window, and what do you notice passing by other than a silver car? And it's kind of funny because your ex had a silver car, didn't they? That is the reticular activating system. You see, it's not that there aren't other cars driving on the road, it's simply that your brain is focusing on the ones you wish it were. This can also be another example in school if you're ever shown a video, and the video is meant to trick your mind. The point of the video is to see how many people walk across the screen. So, the video will instruct you, count the amount of people to walk across the screen. And at some point, one of the people to walk across the screen will be wearing an outrageous color, like maybe the shirt is lime green or something like that. And at the end, the video will ask you something regarding that lime green skirt or lime green pair of pants, and you'll think to yourself, I thought the instructions were to count how many people. I didn't even notice anybody who had lime green on. That's the reticular activating system. Its job is to point out patterns. And so time is one of the things it does affect. Because at the end of a breakup, you are hyper-focused on your ex, and the whole job of your RAS is to receive information that you find to be important. And during a breakup, any information that you think will help you, your brain regards as important in order to get your ex back, or maybe in order to learn new information, or are they dating somebody new? And so your reticular activating system is always on, always searching for that next piece of information that it can take in. Meaning you are constantly focused on your ex. You're constantly thinking about the sadness. You're constantly reliving this sort of one-way system in your mind where now you're unable to think anything else because this is what's happening right now in front of you. At the beginning of a breakup, it is so hard to feel positive feelings. And so what's that old saying? Whenever you're really enjoying something, it seems like an hour was a minute. And whenever you're doing something you dread, a minute lasts an hour. It's simply how our brain learns to acknowledge and access these different patterns of thought and behavior. Now, I mentioned earlier that the reticular activating system has a lot to do with consciousness. Now, a lot of people are going to listen to that and think it has to do with my sense of self, my conscious self, and that's not so much what I meant. It has more to do with keeping you literally conscious, awake. And the RAS does this by altering the brain's electrical activity, including the electrical voltage of brainwaves and the speed by which neurons, or nerve cells, fire. Depending on how the RAS configures these signals, you may be more alert or less alert, more awake or less awake, or more cognizant or less cognizant. Do you see where I'm going with this? It alerts you, it keeps you alert and focused on the present moment, which currently is a breakup. So something unpleasant is happening to you, and you are hyper-focused on it, and so the time slows down. Obviously, we know that time is not literally slowing down, but because something negative is happening, we sense, we feel, we perceive time as slower. This is no different than struggling at the gym if you're doing a really, really hard workout, where it just seems like, this is impossible, this is so hard, I don't enjoy this, I know I'll be glad that I did it afterwards, but really that's what's happening. Something negative is happening, we're focused on the present because of that negative thing, and time seems as though it's just taking its sweet time. Okay, so great. We know why time seems like it slows down. Now what can we do about it? Well, one of the things that we can do is begin to throw ourselves into focuses and pursuits which we enjoy. This is very much the personal work that I always talk about, because the purpose is to distract yourself so that you're not thinking of it 24 hours a day. That's unhealthy. We need to be able to get away from the thought, because that's going to help contribute to the balance. And remember how often I talk about balance and how important it is, both in and out of relationships. We need to be able to spend time thinking about it, and we need to be able to spend time away from it. These things are going to help us feel much happier and much healthier, because there's going to be a time where you need to let your friend drag you out of the house so you can smile, so something new and something different can enter, so you can get a different point of view, so you can see outside yourself and how the world is bigger than you and I and our problems. Now, obviously, the coronavirus is making things a bit harder because we're all trapped at home. However, there are many pursuits that you could be going after right now. We have the internet, which is an endless wealth of information, and we have phones. We can call our friends. We can talk to people. The reticular activating system, as said earlier, is in charge of noticing patterns of what our consciousness focuses on, because it shows us what's directly important to us, what's in front of our nose, and what we have told our brain is important to us in that moment. But that does not mean it's immune to distraction. And I think, as I just stated, a bit of distraction is quite helpful and healthy. One of the things that can help your reticular activating system do its job in a more helpful fashion is meditation. Because meditation is focusing on the present moment. Because whether we like it or not, and though relatively speaking a breakup just happened, it's not currently happening. And that's important. That's a really important distinction, guys, because if you're able to focus on the present moment through meditation, where you're just sitting in a comfortable position, breathing in through your nose, breathing out through your mouth, and focusing on nothing but peace and calm and slowing your breath, well, you are focused on the hyper-present moment. Man, look, folks, let me level with you. I'm not going to insult anybody's intelligence by sitting here and telling you that breakups are easy. They are not. They are, however, quite simple. And that's the part that we need to focus on. This is a war and we have weapons, right? And so very often we forget that when we do the right things and avoid the bad things, as I've said before, it really does get easier, and it gets easier quickly. It snowballs, it gets bigger and faster. And that's one of the things that we can look forward to, that your hard work will lead you to success if you let it. Exercise will lead you to a healthy body. Meditation will lead you to more mental peace. Counseling will lead you to more mental peace. Journaling will lead you to a more organized sense of thinking, which in turn will lead you to more mental peace. And in fact, I'm going to be doing a video on journaling where I'm going to be referencing exact scientific studies that you can read for yourself if you don't believe me. Personally, I feel a lot better about situations like this when I'm able to really understand what's going on inside of me. But there's a school of thought when it comes to breakups that, hey, don't even think about it. It's black and white. They broke up with you. Block them forever. Never take them back. And I'm not in that camp, because life is not that black and white. We get in trouble when we try to put people in black or white type scenarios, because ultimately life is a gray area. And ultimately, when it comes to breakups and relationships, it's almost always a 50-50 problem. And the times that it's not, at least we can take 10% of the blame. It's never completely one person's fault. And the times where it really, fully, truly is, are times where there's still something to learn. Because when we take fault, we can do something about it. However, if we take no fault and it's completely the other person, well then, we're just victims and bad things happen to us, and that is not a position of power. I would rather have you all learn a lesson, see the silver lining, and grow from the experience. And together, we can do that. I hope this video helped everybody learn a little more about the reticular activating system and why time slows down during a breakup. If you found my video helpful, I'd be very grateful if you'd subscribe and hit like. Please leave a comment below and tell me what you thought of this topic and what topics you might want to see in the future that are a bit more scientific. If you'd like extra videos with me and private live streams every week, just visit my Patreon. Patreon.com/thelovechat. Until next time.